worth of work is a lot better than the alternative what I was doing.
Right. So, I think the only game I'm playing right now is the Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah? How you
Yeah,
liking that? I heard it was a
man,
really good game.
it is a fucking work of art. I'm playing it on the Xbox Series X, and it is fucking badass.
Nice.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to know shit about Harry Potter to get into the game and like the game, or there's lots of Harry Potter fucking lore shit in there that, if you're into that shit,
See,
it's there for you.
it's really weird. Not of course. I'm Gen X. I didn't grow up with Harry Potter. But
Right.
but
But you probably taught your kids to read with some fucking
well,
Harry Potter.
yeah, I'm blessed with not having kids. I have cats. I don't have any kids, and
Oh,
my
well,
cats don't care for it either. But here's the weird thing: is that you know, I love everything Dungeons and Dragons. I love, the
right.
weird magical stuff. Shit, I even like the Golden Compass. Actually, didn't really care for the Golden Compass, but I really liked his Dark Materials. I thought that was a really good series. But I cannot, for the life of me, get into Harry Potter. I don't get it. I don't understand the appeal, and I certainly and while I can, I guess maybe on a minor level understand people wanting to cosplay and go to Comic Con dressed as Jedi or stormtroopers or what have you. I don't understand these kids wanting to go out into a soccer field and run around with brooms between their legs, pretending to play what is it, Kidditch? I don't understand it.
Quidditch.
Yeah,
Well,
right. Yeah, I
yeah,
don't get it. I'm like, you you kids are
I look at
you
that on
guys
the
are
same
fucking
part,
nerds.
right? But I mean, that's on the same level as fucking LARPing, man.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't have a problem with that. I'm
Right.
not sure exactly what they're doing in Quidditch on the fake
Well,
one,
I will tell
but
you this about LARPing is that I remember the LARPing first really started to come out. We were playing D&D and Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay and Star West End Games D6 version of Star Wars. And I remember when Vampire the Masquerade came out and all of these people wanted to start LARPing and they were getting together at like the parks and stuff. And we were like, you guys are the nerds that the nerds warn other nerds away from. We're like, yeah, don't go over to that side of the park. They're fucking nerds.
oh yeah,
But I mean, back then, and I gotta say so much of it now. Let's just call LARPing what it is. It's an excuse for nerds to get together and go off in the bushes and actually be able to experience sex. Because that's what they
maybe
were doing with
yeah,
Vampire. that's
yeah.
that's all they were doing with Vampire is basically role playing as foreplay and then going off into the bushes to um, bump uglies, as
Right.
they say.
If man, if I'm gonna extend all that energy in some shit, it's gonna be something different than this. I mean, you know, I I could coach a football team and get a lot of fucking exercise like that. Or, man, really, if I'm gonna do all that walking and shit, I'm gonna go climb a mountain and look out.
Well, I will tell
And
you, the LARPers that I knew when Vampire first came out, going off into the bushes and bumping uglies was the only exercise a lot of them saw outside of PE
uh,
class.
right, maybe so. But I mean, if you're gonna enact a battle scene, you got to do a little hustle, or you're just fucking not really acting it out. You know.
Yeah. And then it
And
got even
so,
worse. Into our 20s, you'd show up at the bar and there were people showing up with false vampire fangs. Oh, I'm a
oh
vampire.
yeah,
And like, no, you're not. Just stop. Just drink your beer and shut the fuck up. Go sit at the rack and tip the dancer $1. And don't forget to
right.
tip your bartender and your waitresses. If you ain't tipping,
We
they ain't
don't.
stripping.
The people around here that do LARPing, I mean, uh, man, they beat each other's ass. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, they got foam sticks that
Oh
are
yeah,
wrapped with padding and stuff, man, and they're wearing armor. But I mean, I saw them, and they're beating each. I mean, they're fucking each other up.
yeah. The
And so I'm like,
Yeah, the shop that that I worked at, they sold foam swords and shields and little foam daggers and whatnot. And yeah, no, they would sit there and every once in a while he would do a giveaway and he'd give some 12-year-old kid the sword and he'd beat the shit out of everybody else because they're 12. And even though they're foam, they've still got a little bit of stiffness to them. I mean, it didn't feel great. So yeah, and then his wife had to stop him from. So this metal worker came in and he had made like blunted axes and short swords and whatnot. And she wanted, or he wanted him to sell those in his shop, and his wife was like, no, you're not going to sell those in the shop because somebody's going to end up in the hospital.
well, as long as you catch it on videotape, see.
Well, yeah, and I videoed all our games, so I was always hoping there was going to be blood loss.
Right, it's funny. Saw a meme and it had a picture of it and goes, yes, it was something like, these are copies of swords, that they're not actual weapons, and they had this thing about don't pick up this sword that's based off anime and talk about balance.
Oh, right.
And shit.
Right, yeah, they had foam swords hanging on the wall, and they had these dorks coming in, picking them up off the wall, and, like, discussing the balance of the sword, and it's like, yeah, that would be painful to watch. I agree.
This is the balance of a shopping mall katana.
Yes, yes.
Made
How are
of
you
the
doing,
finest
JT?
sheet. Made of the finest sheet metal.
Yes.
Doing good. Just listening to this whole LARPing thing, I was invited to that one day as well too, and I just kind of laughed my ass off because I've been involved in martial arts for probably about 45 years. I teach, and none of these young kids, and I was in my 40s at that point, would last the 2-minute rounds in a kumite match worth their salt. And I ate them up for breakfast, and then I felt, well, and they were all like, oh yeah, look at you, and I'm like, whatever. And I ended up I never could go back because it was just embarrassing for them.
Well, I saw it one time, and I, back when I was 19,
Couldn't do it.
20, and I was embarrassed. I watched them, and it made me feel embarrassed, and I wasn't even taking part, and I'm like, no, I can't be a part of this. Like,
No.
There's no way. Yeah.
I was really involved in the vampire Camarilla back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, it was always the Masquerade guys that were really into that, and yeah, like I said, back when Masquerade first came out, I think I was 19 or 20, and it was like that was like the first time that we'd ever even really heard of LARPing outside of like a Renaissance fair. And so, there were all these people that they shunned like people playing D&D and whatnot, and they were all the drama nerds. And so they all got into vampire, and they showed up at the park, and they're like, oh, well, you guys are into role playing, you should show up. And we're like, all right. And so we sat there and kind of watched this travesty take place, and we're like, no.
I did, like I said, I did it for years. I was the assistant regional storyteller for Camarilla for several years, and I was the Prince of Fresno for 3, and helped organize here in Fresno. But it always was a really weird group because like 1/3 of them would be nerdy gamers. 1/3 were theater folks that realized this was a form of long form improv, and so they kind of enjoyed that aspect of things. And then 1/3 were the goth bondage kids.
That they were only there to get laid.
Well, yeah, but it was they got into it too. But I mean, it was just this really weird. It was three groups of people that normally wouldn't hang out together, but this one activity brought them all together, and so it was always kind of a weird coalition of nerds that got really into the vampire stuff.
Yeah.
I had a good time when they were really excited when Fresno signed up, because what it meant was that the folks that were gaming out of the Sacramento and out of the Bay Area realized that if they wanted a game with the LA crowd, it was really easy to drive 3 hours to Fresno and game in Fresno. And so we'd have people every Friday when we'd play, we'd have people from LA up, San Diego up, we'd have people from Reno, Sacramento, the Bay Area, all converging on Fresno because it was centrally located. And so we'd have like 120, 130 people gaming. And so, I mean, it's really hard it's a very different gaming experience when you have that many people all playing. And then the fact that it was a worldwide chronicle. So between game sessions, people were on email in character, people were on IRC chat in character. And so you had ramifications. I had two different characters. One was Prince of Fresno and the other one was Lord of the Sixth of the Tremere clan. And I could literally go, I need every Tremere available to show up at the next game in the Bay Area, and there'd be like 150 Tremere there.
Jesus.
And because either people would come in person from several states away, or if they couldn't make it, they would say, I can't go, but my character would go, and so they would proxy their character. They would send the character sheet to the storyteller that running the game and go, if you can get somebody to NPC me, my character would go to this. I unfortunately can't make it. And so, and they'd be risking their character's death having some other person they don't even know play their character, but it was just, that's what they would do. So it was really kind of it was a really good way to do the politics that's needed for Vampire.
Right.
The Vampire and Changeling both, they really are reliant on a large court politics, and they really benefit from these huge LARPs.
Yeah,
I think Sabbat and Werewolf work really well for tabletop gaming.
Yeah, we stuck to Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse. We had a little bit of Wraith in there and a little bit of Sorcerer, and then it just kind of, the interest in that kind of petered out. We were just it just it was, we would play around our table like we would any other role playing game. And everybody else wanted to run, LARP, and we were like, "No, you guys are fucking weird. We don't." I play a lot of BattleTech, but I don't show up in a cooling vest and a neural helmet either. But I'm just saying.
I played pretty much all the White Wolf tabletop. The Vampire and Changeling both were always so dependent on court intrigue that you had so many NPCs that it never worked as well for me tabletop as it did LARP. When you have a LARP and you've got people playing all those characters, it really is a cool experience. But at the same time, like Sabbat and Hunter and Werewolf, those work amongst a small group, tight-knit pack, and so those work great for tabletop. I had this preference where I didn't really enjoy some of those games as LARP, whereas I liked the others as LARP. So I don't know. It was a lot of fun, and I met a lot of cool people over the years doing it.
Yeah, well, I mean, in the LARPing thing, honestly, it took off. It turned into the cosplay that we see today. I mean, because back then, there was no cosplay so much. I mean, there might have been a couple of people, but that wasn't it. I mean, it was just LARPing and people dressing up as their characters, and then it turned into this whole thing, and then here we are today.
Kept Hot Topic afloat.
Right, yeah, no shit, right? Yeah. So, yes, Kate, my wife, tested positive, so we're pregnant with COVID. And so it took over 3 years for us to catch it. I've been dodging bullets all this time, and then
For me, the first couple days I was really exhausted, and then after that it was not a big deal. But boy, the That first day, I think I slept 20 hours. It was
I've had
really
3 colds this winter already that started out worse than this. I am starting to feel like shit now. My ear is starting to hurt, which is nothing new for me. I've my entire life I've had chronic ear infections, so you know, this is par for the course. So this isn't really the most awful that I've felt. So I mean, hey, I'm not getting up and having to run to the bathroom to throw up. So that's a benefit. That was like what, our first or second game session for this.
Yeah. I found the secret to good health is not let the doctor test you for anything.
Right.
He won't tell you there's nothing wrong and you're good.
You know what? I've said that for years. Have you noticed that the people who have cancer don't really get sick until after they are diagnosed and are told they have cancer? And then it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, they died in like 2 weeks. What the fuck?
Yeah. That's the secret.
That's the secret. Just ignore it.
Yeah. Go away.
Not leaving the house helps.
Yeah. Well, see, and that's my thing is I don't go anywhere. I mean, we've only got the one vehicle, and so my wife, she works from home, but she goes into the office 2 days a week. So we know where that came from.
We know where that came from.
There's your disease vector.
Yes, there's the front door, but. So, welcome to Deep Night Revelation. We'll be picking up where we left off last week. These guys are still on Alpha. What is it? DKB1 Alpha out in the middle. Actually, and I was going to show this. I will just to bring it up. This is how remote you guys are. Point XF 1402 is where you guys are at. And so, yeah, it's remote. There's like nothing within many parsecs of any direction. So
is there like a refueling stations or something in between? Or
there are refueling caches that the Navy has set up in order to cross this rift or this Gulf of the Great Rift. And I was going to say, I mean, originally you guys were probably journeying from, what is this, Valaki to XF 1402, and then you were going to travel on. And up here, where is it? Here, right here. You were probably traveling to Gakur, and there will be more information on that forthcoming as to what exactly is going on at Gakur. But
does Gakur want some more fungus?
No more fungus.
More fungus among us.
The fungus.
Before we get started, we will be thanking a friend of the Greenwater Guildhall. None of these are sponsorships or partnerships of any kind. They're just products that we really like. Tonight, we are going to thank and this is actually an old friend of the Greenwater Guildhall. They are going to be coming back. They are Talon and Claw. They make wooden tabletop accessories for your tabletop games. Such as customized wooden DM screens. They've got dice vaults. Just a whole plethora of. They've got like coasters that they've done. Just amazing stuff. They're up here in Washington, and they do amazing work. Like I said, they can customize just about anything. Send them an image, and they've got the 3D printers and lasers to do it. Oh, they've got this other cool thing. It looks like a skull with the jaw open, and it's a dice tower. You drop the dice through a hole in the top of the skull, and it comes out in the jaw. It's really cool. But yeah, check out Talon and Claw, and tell them we sent you. We have a website for our Deep Night Revelation campaign via Obsidian Portal that will be down in the description below. The adventure log is written in the manner of news articles, not always directly detailing what these guys are doing, but pretty much it's going to be centered on them because they are going to be very, very soon now going out into the far reaches of nothingness. So go ahead and check that out. If you like what you see, go to the front page and give us a thumbs up. We like to see the fan likes, and we hope you enjoy. So Gabe is going to be out. So he was out last week, and then because he had some shit to do, and then this week, I believe there was a death in the family. So I'm not completely sure and up to date on everything that's going on, but yeah. So Gabe's having a rough time of it. So that is what Gabe's dealing with. So he will not be. Jack will not be with us. So last time we left off, you guys had gone and you found the captain. What was his name? His name was Captain Eric Valen, and he looks like a mess. He looks like he's wearing homeless chic, and he was out basically mumbling to himself in the hovels that are the leftovers of the previous expedition outside the carvings. And if I remember correctly, Bocephus looked at the carvings, and Bocephus was able to realize there is a message in the carving. Basically that, at the end of the universe, etc., there is the end of all life, blah, blah, blah. And these carvings, if I remember correctly, it seems like last week was a really long time ago, but these carvings, the alpha rock carvings, you guys kind of determined that this is some kind of star map. And so
kind of map of some kind.
Yeah, it's something. I mean, most people look at it and they just think that it's, some crazy designs, of hippie origin, but that's not. You guys really kind of looked at this, and Bocephus, with his telepathic link, there is a telepathic connection to these. Most people just have a feeling of unease around these after viewing them, and a bit of short-term memory loss, like they forget why they're there. The buildings over there, there's a bunch of stuff that's left in the dirt, a tool here or a computer pad there, and people set this stuff down, they view these, and then forget. They get so distraught at what they're seeing that they forget why they were there, and they forget what they brought with them, and then they quickly leave. And so there's a bunch of stuff that's left behind. Valen was basically sitting there mumbling to himself. So you do have, and you came back here to your ship 4A7, and you have his security ident card. So you could create a whichever of you is going to choose captaincy over 4A7. You could choose to do a safety override to unlock 5A7. Or I'm sorry, you're on 4A4. 5A7 is the other ship. You could do a safety override to unlock 5A7 and thus get out the young lady that is inside. Her name is Tass Engren, the quote-unquote chief engineer, who is certainly not rated to be a chief.
Man, the thing is, this fungus is not working real well here. Didn't we kind of discover that? It's something about this area here really makes a harsh living environment for this fungus.
Yeah, I mean, you guys discussed that in your in our chat over the last week, and normally, I mean, a lot of people would say, well, that's metagaming, but it's really not, because of course you guys would be sitting around the table saying, well, hey, What about this? And so you guys have had a week to really kind of think on it. And what I'm saying is that you are sitting around the bridge or what have you, the common area. I'm assuming this place has a common area. Discussing exactly that. And so, yes, there is something about the planet that is causing the entity to not flourish. Now, there's a number of reasons that could be. You're not seeing that there is a whole lot of plant growth. There's not a whole lot of insect life, though you know that there is a little bit of both. Like, basically, they kind of support one another. But it's possible that maybe there's not enough that is causing the entity to not be able to flourish, but it just doesn't seem to be doing real well.
I'd suggest that we sample the soil, and I also suggest we do analysis of the light, whatever light we're getting here, to see what the UV component is.
Excellent.
That's not a bad idea. So you do know, so Alpha, the primary, is a brown dwarf. So as far as UV light, I would imagine that you're probably getting more in the UV spectrum than you are anything else. But the reality is you're not getting a lot of really much of anything. There's barely enough to keep the planet from freezing over.
So that's probably what he's saying then, is it's really just because of a lack of nutrients and all that. I mean, we've seen evidence that the crawlers can move around just fine.
And we've seen that they can take over people just fine.
Yeah, it's just a lack of nutrients, maybe. You know, I would, before we move along too farther, there's this artifact that we found, that the star map, right? And, I kind of investigated it from the psionic side, but I have this psioncology. I'd like to apply that skill to this and see if I can come up with a theory on why I fully recharged. Maybe is there a way I feel that I can manipulate this or something like that?
You can go ahead and make a roll with that plus your intellect, or we're just gonna say intellect because you're really feeling around in the dark here. It's gonna.
Right, well,
you're gonna have to get a really high roll.
That's fine, because remember I came from the psionic upbringing. I have a 2 in my psioncology, and then I have an intellect that'll give me a +1.
There for a second I thought you said Scientology. I'm like, hey, well, this is more scientific and less religion, but whatever.
Well, I mean, I might be.
Are we still calling that a religion? I mean,
we are dealing with ancient aliens.
That's true. There are ancient aliens.
I didn't do very well.
So yeah. So you know that whoever carved this, well, you do know a couple of things. You know that whoever carved this was a droid. You know that the carving itself, and you're probably not completely astute as to droid culture or how they do things, but however they did this, the carving itself, they imparted a telepathic message into the carving. The carving itself is meaningful, but not without the telepathic. You also know that there are certain people that may not test out as being psionic, but they are still susceptible. And these are the people that you see going a little bit crazy. You haven't really lost any of your faculties. Of course, you haven't tried going to bed tonight yet, but So far, you haven't gone completely batshit over this.
Yeah, but I also know that I had a big telepathic assault that I had to endure.
Yeah, it flooded you.
Yeah, we need to set this place out as a caution warning and put out warnings to stay away from this artifact.
Well, I think you've already got the planet. You've got beacons from our ship alerting anyone that this is a
definitely a red zone.
But you've designated this planet as unsafe to land. However, the reality is anybody that's jumped to this system is going to have to land, right?
Right. They don't have a choice.
Unless there's a gas giant, they're going to have to refuel to get out.
This is the only rock orbiting this planet.
Yeah. So it means that if someone does jump here and gets your beacon that this is a contaminated planet, they're still going to have to land and refuel. So it's we might want to designate this specific area, give out the coordinates of a giant grid as unsafe with our beacon, so that they could land somewhere else and refuel from water that they find in another location. But
yeah, we can do that. We can probably
otherwise you jump in and go, well, now I'm screwed. I can't refuel, and there's no way to leave.
So aside from all of this, you basically you've got 4 avenues here. You can continue to research this on your ship, which keep in mind that this is basically a big brick cargo ship. So your research facilities are quite limited. 2, you have Tass Ingrid, who is trapped on the other reft hauler that is locked down. The other 2 options are that and this was, I believe, what we discussed at the end of the game last week, is that you wanted to do a little bit more research. There is the ops mod module. There is an ops facility, and then of course there is a science facility, and you were thinking about checking those out here in Candling Station. Then of course, now that you have access to an air raft, you were going to maybe go up to the observatory, and that there was a air raft that took off towards the observatory, but nobody's seen anything since. So I don't know, which direction do you guys want to go here? You're you're at a crossways.
We've got alien tech and a deadly fungus.
So I think the first thing we want to do is get her off of her ship.
I don't know, man. Last time,
you know what? I still say we need to leave her. I don't want her coming along.
Yeah, fuck her, man. She's gonna get nuked or get us nuked.
No. If the sooner we can get her off her ship, we can in our vac suits, we can scan her to determine whether she's contaminant safe, and then we can put her through the airlock, the UV light, get her on our ship, and then put her in a low berth so that we know that she's not contaminated and doesn't run a risk of being contaminated. Every single hour she's on that ship, she runs a risk of getting contaminated. And so I think the faster we can get her off the ship, the more likely she survives. She hasn't.
Let's just write her off. It's dead.
She hasn't been directly exposed to anything. There is no reason to write her off.
We don't know that.
Well, a medical scan would tell us.
That's true.
So why? Plus, we also want to get on there to get access to their bridge. Any computer information regards logs or whatever we can get from the ship, the better. That's more information that we can present. And so I think it's worth going in there and rating their computer logs and getting her off the ship, scanning her, making sure she's safe. If she's not safe, then we don't let her off the ship. So we go in there, we scan her, we get the computer records, we leave. If she's not contaminated, we have her leave with us, and we put her in a low berth while we explore. But the faster we get her off the ship, the better her chances of survival. And she's frankly, to our knowledge, not been contaminated, or there's no reason to write her off.
I do need another reason to shoot somebody with my magic juice.
Well, I don't think we have to use that to put a person in low berth.
Well, it's just not fair to the other children. I'm jesting,
Oh, you're not.
Oh no, I mean, if she acts fucked up, she's getting dosed. She might get shot. I mean,
Can I shoot her?
sure.
She's a witch burner.
I am a medic. If she acts human after you shoot her, I'll patch her up.
I see Glenn is wearing his new Pirates of Drenex t-shirt. Yes, we have Pirates of Drenex t-shirts available. I'm still working on a design for you guys. I want to come up with an official looking design. So I'm trying to come up with something like a NASA type patch.
What is that design supposed to be? I kept looking at that, trying to figure out what it's supposed to be.
There is a mushroom cloud
in the shape of a skull.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. That's
and on the back is a pirate ship.
Yeah, the logo for Greenwater Guildhall is on the back. So, yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. So, you guys would realize, basically, Tass is Schrodinger's cat. She's both infected and not infected at the same time. You don't know until you open the ship up and scan her, right? The other thing that you're assuming is that you would go onto the ship and be able to get their ship's logs. However, standard procedure usually when you dock is to transfer a copy of the ship's logs to the control master. And so those ship's logs, or what happened for that ship when it came in at least to orbit around this world, may actually be in the ops mod of Candling Station.
Well, that's interesting.
The Imperium would want to know all the ships that have been here to be able to track down any of that fungus moving around. So I think that's smart. But, I mean, their standard operating procedure is to burn and then ask questions later. And so this chick on another ship and all that is really just a liability. I mean, just based on the experience that we had on that other space station.
Right.
And,
liability.
We're trying to be good imps.
Yeah, so I say let's go aboard. Let's get the information we can get, and then get off that ship.
All right, everybody on board with boarding 5A7 and rescuing Tass?
Yeah, and getting any computer data we can get as well. Okay. I don't know if we need to do anything unusual to get that. Can the captain provide us codes or whatever we might need to access
No, he's been dosed.
Yeah, he's been dosed, and even if he wasn't dosed, he is not in a coherent mind to really be able to give you the codes required to unlock the ship. But like I said,
I was thinking more along the lines of the ship's logs.
Well, with his ident code, because he has put the ship into lockdown. So normally you would need his ident code and either the first officer's or the engineer's passcode to unlock the ship. You have, with the code, you can do a corporate back door that will unlock the entire ship to you. That is an option. And when I say unlock the entire ship, everything gets unlocked when you put that code up to the door. It's like, okay, you have corporate access.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, let's go unlock that ship, and we'll bring the flamethrower.
Okay. So you guys,
Jack's got the flamethrower.
Yeah, Jack's got the flamethrower. You guys enter probably from either here or here. This is the bottom portion, deck 1 of the 5A7, and mostly this is all cargo hold. of course, the aft section can be configured either for cargo or fuel, depending on how far you're having to go. And then central access, there is a lift. And you guys put in the code, the iris valve opens, and the ship is it's not powered down. You have lighting. It's in standby mode, basically waiting for the engines to be ignited and ready to take off. But aside from that, when you enter this airlock, it is pristine.
That's good. That's good, I guess.
I mean, you're not seeing any signs of fungal growth or anything like that.
Yeah, that's a good sign.
So, where are you guys heading from here?
To the bridge. That's where she's been, and that's where the ship's computers are going to be, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you
Like to take a quick peek in that cargo bay there, though, just to take a look in there.
Well, let me do a peek.
into area 12 here.
Yeah, let me just real quick maybe do a little clairvoyance.
And there's nothing but carbon froze go-go girls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those are the best kind.
So that is a success for clairvoyance.
So your clairvoyance doesn't really.
It doesn't let me see in the dark. So if there's no lights on, that really will.
Yeah, I mean you don't get any tingling, but like you and Bocephus open up this door here. There's 2 accesses to the main cargo hold, and when you open the door and you take that first step in, overhead lights light up for that area. And then you have to move to the next area before those lights, and it just kind of they turn themselves on. And what you're seeing,
I just think this is an unnecessary risk.
What you're seeing in this cargo hold is kind of like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark with the warehouse where they put the Ark. There's just rows and rows of cargo containers that are all lined up. You know, obviously not being offloaded here. They would be offloaded wherever 5A7 was traveling, probably to Gakura Naval Base.
Last time this fungus, it established its center point, just kind of out of the way, and then by the time, what it looked like to me,
I agree.
Right,
I agree, but this is a complete risk with 0 reward. This ship is a write-off. Let's head to the bridge. Let's get the girl. Let's get the computer records. Let's get off. Let's seal the ship back up, and then it is contaminated as far.
Well,
and
yeah,
so
if we would have saw it,
I want to get the girl. The girl's a write-off too.
She's not. She is not. All it takes is a scan to tell her she's a write-off. Let's at least scan her. If she scans clean, she's not a write-off, and let's get her off the ship.
Well, I mean, this actually did have a reward. We did not see a big growth fungus here, which if we'd have seen, we would have turned around and gotten the fuck off this ship right now.
That's true.
Now that I see that it's still clean and everything, I mean, now I might consider it being a smart idea to leave this level of the ship. I mean, it had some risk, but it also, I mean, provided information.
Yeah, I mean, these rift haulers can haul 339 tons of cargo. So, I mean, this is just a massive warehouse. But to visual inspection, you just see a bunch of cargo containers that are sealed up, and they're only labeled with serial numbers. So you would have to get the ship's manifest and go over it with a fine-tooth comb to see what's, per serial number, to see what's in each individual crate. It's
Right,
typical government bullshit.
I wasn't really caring about what kind of cargo they had. I was just more, thinking, oh, God, man, if I'm going to be a big fungal growth and all that. Here in this cargo hold off to the side would be a place to set up.
Aside from looking like the dingy cargo hold that it normally would be, you don't see anything else.
Yeah, and I'm good. I guess let's go up if that's what you want to do.
I want to get the manifest, see if there's 3 tons of gold in here.
Yeah, we've got to go scan this lady. I
Well, you're
guess.
the doc. You can do that.
So the
Yeah.
So the lift brings you up center ship on deck 2, and you know from your own ship that these are your staterooms. Behind you to the aft, first you go through low berths, and there's not a ton of low berths. In fact, there's really not usually enough low berths for a full crew complement. 4A4, your ship, is actually running with a slightly lower than usual crew average, but there are 4 low berths back there, and then of course the engineering section. Traveling forward, you know that Tass had set up basically a sleeping bag and a pillow to sleep on the bridge, waiting for Sarda to knock on the bridge windows, climbing up and knocking on the windows in order to give her information. So having, complete access to the ship, you are able to make your way to the bridge. And indeed, there is Tass kind of laying on the floor, not sleeping very well. She awakes the second the iris valve opens and stands up in a start and sees you guys walk in your vac suits and is kind of like rubbing sleep out of her eyes and is excitedly wanting to know, oh my God, you guys made it into the ship. Does that mean we can get out?
We need to scan you to make sure that you're not contaminated.
So,
and we're gonna get some computer records from the log, and then seal the ship back up.
So Bocephus can make the scan. Who is going to check the computers for the logs?
I've got computer 2. Does anybody have better than that?
Nope.
No.
Okay. So George.
Is that intellect as well? Because that gives me another 2. I like
Yeah,
that.
it would be electronics, computers plus intellect or education, your choice. Bocephus,
Okay.
you can make a medic check plus intellect or education.
Oh, okay.
With an additional +2 for your scanner.
Okay, so let's add 4 to this. So that's 11.
Okay. You run her over with the medical scanner, and your medical scanner comes back that she is negative for any kind of fungal infection.
Bullshit. I mean,
Let's get her off the ship as quickly
I
as
rolled
possible.
an 11.
Yeah, she needs to.
7 plus 4.
All right, perfect. Let's get the records.
Wait,
get her.
yeah, get the records and all that, and let's put her in a vac suit.
So
The vac suit might be contaminated. Let's get her the hell off the ship as fast as we can.
your medical
The bridge is gonna have
your medical scanner, you scan her over, and she does come back as negative for fungal infection, but she does come back as having a positive pregnancy test.
Oh man, like, dude, who have you been fucking?
I mean that's her own personal business.
Yeah. Hey man, there's not a lot to do in Jump Space,
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I'm not even gonna say anything about that. I'm just gonna be like, all right, well, I'm not.
I'm not gonna tell her.
So
She
you're
may
gonna
not
let her
even
come
know.
here. So she's got the fungus alien growing inside of her.
Well, I'm standing in front of everybody, and I'm trying
I want a
to.
new doctor.
Yeah, it's fine. It'll be okay. I might tell her
As
here in a
everything
little bit.
burns down around him,
But,
it's all
I mean,
fine.
Well, no,
You gotta
because if we
pop
tell
out
her
of
she's
stomach
pregnant,
and scream and run around.
if we tell her she's pregnant, she's not going to want to go in the low berth, and I really just want to slam her in the low berth, turn it on, and not think about her until we report in to the.
She's
Imperial.
already been slammed, so you gotta.
So George, are you downloading the logs, or are you reading the logs as you go?
I'm going to download the logs and I'm going to read them as I go.
Okay. So, with your 11, a couple of things stand out. Well, first of all, your 11, you are downloading the logs. Go ahead and make a. Do you have admin?
Sure.
Does anybody have admin?
I do. I believe I do.
You can,
zero.
whoever
I have
would like
admin
to
zero.
can make an admin plus intellect or education check.
Yeah, I got a 0 in it, but I'm at least trained.
I got nothing.
That's not my thing.
I got 0.
That's why most hospitals don't allow me around. Is I don't do paperwork.
So I got an 8.
Okay. So, as these logs are downloading, are you're just transferring them directly over to 4A4? Or
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm not going to carry on the person. Let's get them on board something hard like a ship.
So yeah, you're doing a cross transfer, and Sarda, you kind of look through this information that is being transferred, and the logs show that that 5A7, as it was coming into Alpha, in orbit around Alpha, it detected wreckage. And when I say wreckage, I mean not like, oh my God, there's a big chunk of spaceship. That's not what they saw. They saw fine particulate matter, and that would indicate the possibility that there was wreckage of some kind, and they took a sample of this.
This was orbiting wreckage, or it was on the ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
How
And
radioactive is it?
They took a sample of this wreckage, and they noted that as soon as they took the sample, one of the crew member that was studying this soon came down with a flu-like symptoms.
Fuck this. We're out. Come on.
Upon landing, they transferred not only the crew member with the flu-like symptoms, but also the samples to the science building here on Candling Station.
Let's stay away from the science building, gentlemen.
Let's burn Chandling Station.
Yeah, I think at this point, like, get off this ship, seal it back up onto the same way that he sealed it up previously. Put her in low berth, and then let's get to the observatory, get those people, and get the hell out of here.
Does she have any signs of these particulates that you say they found and brought aboard this ship?
No, she's completely. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
When I say
right.
particulates, I mean like pieces that are like maybe an inch in size is what they found.
Yeah.
That's
All
a
right.
pretty good sized coffee cup you got there.
Yeah.
We don't need to worry about
Let's get the fuck out.
time going inside of the person we should have left on the planet on fire.
Let's get the fuck out. I'll tell her that she needs to. I mean, is there like an emergency vac suit or something here on the bridge?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she needs to put that on before we take her outside.
Scan the vac suit first.
Scan everything.
No point putting on an infected condom.
Yeah.
Right, well, I mean, if we're trusting this cabin
we
that
just
she's been
snipped the end
staying
off of
in.
Everything's possibly messed up.
Well, here's my assessment of
this
a 9.
So your scan of the vac suit is clean. Everything seems to be spotless. I mean, when I say spotless, the bridge shows. I mean, obviously, this is a lived-in, worked-in ship.
Yeah.
But aside from that, you're not seeing, aside from the normal grime and grub of a working cargo vessel, you're not seeing growth or anything like that.
Yep. I'll just tell her you need to get inside this vac suit.
You guys are gonna have PTSD. You're gonna go into the fucking galley and find a loaf of bread with some mold on it and freak out.
Burn it.
Yeah, that's what you're looking at.
Well,
I'm definitely going to get with the engineer and see about making a handheld version of the flamethrower pistol or something. that doesn't take such heavy weapons skills. Something everybody could use.
Just start telling everybody they're heretics and burn them
Unfortunately,
down.
unfortunately, it's not a slug weapon.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah, no.
But,
Flamethrower is a heavy weapon.
There's a flame rifle that you can purchase.
There's a flame rifle, and there's actually a hand flame.
Yeah, there's a hand
But
flamer.
they're not slug weapons, and I only have slugs.
Yeah,
so.
they're energy weapons. But I mean, you would still shoot at a 0.
Yeah, you get a 0 in it. You're good. The flame pistol doesn't do much damage. You probably want to go with the rifle if you're going to do it.
Yeah, well, at least it does full damage.
Well, we'll discuss that as soon as we get out of here.
So you're bustling her off of the bridge and down the hall. Now,
after she's in a vac suit, you know.
Yeah, you get her into a vac suit, and she, in the whole entire process, clear her up until I mean, she won't shut up. She hasn't seen anybody in a while, so she is a chatterbox. And you put the helmet on her, and there for a second before her mics kick in, she's talking, and you can see her mouth moving, but there's no sound. And then the mics kick in, and then she has all these questions. Well, what happened to Captain Valen? What's going on with Candling Station? Why haven't we taken off? You know, she wants to know what
everything is classified, and you are not needing to know. What you need to know is shut the fuck up.
We can tell her. We can tell her that the sample they took on contaminated the entire place.
Yep. And the first minute she shows signs, we're killing her.
The sample's growing inside of her.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I'll ask him. I'll be like,
it is not. Look, it's not. It's not. Let's look at this seriously. She is a co-worker. She is employed by our same company we are. She's not contaminated. She's been through a horrific incident. Let's not fuck with her. You know, get her off, get her safe. And I mean, obviously, we don't want to give her free reign on her ship. So let's put her in a low berth. But there is no reason to fuck with her. You know?
All right, we're not going to fuck with her. We'll just put the one baby away from the apocalypse in a lower berth and leave it alone.
I don't trust this baby is like we got to name it David.
You scanned it with a medical device. Right?
When you tell her that the wreckage that they pulled aboard, you know, and to her credit, I mean, well, she didn't decide to do this, but I mean, to the crew's credit of 5A7, finding something like that is proper procedure. You know, I mean, they didn't know what this was. They didn't know if maybe there was a collision between a couple of ships that were trying to come into dock at Alpha. Maybe there was, maybe it was just of scientific, you know, interest. So they followed proper procedure, but they didn't realize how serious this infection was. Nobody knows how serious this infection was. So when you tell her that this may have infected the entire station, that's what shuts her up.
And I can show her, I'll show her the records of those crew members that attacked us. I'll say, this is what the infection does to people.
Yeah, well, I mean, she shut up. She's coming along. Let's get her and go.
Yeah, she just kind of goes numb and just follows you guys.
Damn right.
And so you get her off, and you guys, you're putting 5A7 back into lockdown.
You bet.
I think that's what Sardo was saying.
We've got what we need from it. I don't trust the rest of the ship, right? You know, if there's something contaminated on it, you know,
is there any way we can set it to burn itself out?
We're just gonna go.
We were not sent to retrieve specific cargo from the ship. We were supposed to find out what the situation was. Let's just put it in lockdown. Let's leave it alone.
Yep, agreed. Let's go. Let's get out of here.
To answer Randolph's question, you being the engineer, you would know that technically, yes. So You can't set a fusion reactor to detonate into a big explosion um, like you would see in the movies. That's not what fusion reactors do. You could set the reactor, you could turn off coolant systems, things of that matter that would breach the.
Radiate everything.
It would basically breach the bottle. And so once the bottle is breached, it's just going to spew out flaming hot plasma over the entire region and would engulf the
6,000 plus
ship.
degrees.
Yeah, it would engulf the ship and probably most of Candling Station in that magnetic bottle release. That could be done. But I mean, it's going to be limited. You would get, of course, the landing field, which would include your ship, as well as probably about half a Candling Station, which may or may not include all of the virus. Or not virus, fungus.
Fungus.
So
The fungus among us.
the fungus
Well,
among
we
us.
can do that when we leave and help cauterize this place.
That is an option, yeah.
Yeah, let's just lock it down in the meantime, and because we don't need to burn it. I mean, we just lock it down. We're not, let's get the people out of here. Let's leave this system, and
Okay.
yeah,
So
just
you lock it down, you get back onto 4A4, and Bocephus moves aft with Tass, moving her to the low berths. Bocephus, go ahead and make a persuasion plus either your social or your charm, whichever is better, because you're basically explaining to Tass why you need to put her into low berth.
That's a 10.
That's pretty good. So she nods and kind of understands why you need to put her into low berth. You can tell by the look on her face and how she's gotten pale and started sweating and shaking a little bit that she is not a fan of this idea, but she's going along with it. She gets it. So you drop her into low berth, and
Yep, and just before I turn the low berth on to put her in, I'm going to tell her she's pregnant right then.
I was just gonna say, I just have this image of you shutting the thing and then looking at the window, knocking on it, being like, "By the way, you're preggers. Good night."
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Like, you're pregnant with somebody's baby.
Yeah. So
Bocephus would do that. That's
yeah,
why
she's
they
like,
fixed
"Wait,
it.
what?" And then the frozen. So yeah, she's in low. She's in low berth, and you guys meet back up on the bridge. What is your discussion at this point?
so
Well, okay, go right ahead, George.
I would like to
Randall.
suggest we build a flame rifle.
For in case baby Demian gets out, or what?
I mean, we've got an improvised flamethrower. I mean, we don't necessarily have the tools to build actual weapons from scratch. I mean, we can.
Well, I mean,
improvise
Actually,
crap.
yes, we do.
You do, because he's got a fabricator, but
Oh, we have a fabricator. Okay.
yeah, but you're talking about a length of
We're
time.
talking about hours.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
that's
other-
without trying to design it and all that.
The other thing that was it was brought up a few times this last session, the fact that stuff from this planet seems to resist the molt. So we might want to see if we can't get some. I know that he mentioned there was not algae, but mold, or not mold. It was
Moss and lichen.
moss and lichens, and see if it can incorporate those or not.
They got science vessels that can come and research all this with.
But we know they won't, right? We know they will not.
Well, I mean, that's between them. I mean,
but
if
why
you're
don't
going to
we-
scold me for looking in a cargo deck for taking risks, then let's go in and getting spore-filled samples of the planet is a risk that is
that's not
greater
spore
than-
filled. We would be getting those from somewhere completely different
Well.
and safe, and then throwing them at the thing to see if it incorporates them
we're
or not.
we're trusting our equipment to be able to handle things it's not really programmed or known to dealt with.
There is no equipment involved in throwing a piece of material at a fungal spore. That there's no right. It's just does it absorb it or not? That's all we'd be observing.
I don't know. I just don't want to study this stuff. It turns people into creatures that we kill.
Dude.
Yeah.
But if there's something about the plant life here that is resistant to it, that could be very, very valuable information.
But there's not really any plant
life. Just take the moss and the lichens. We don't need to test it. Give it to our people to send to the
well, I mean, you could take samples
research institutes.
Yeah,
or whatever.
you could take samples of the moss and lichen and research it. Bocephus could research it.
Sure,
over
but knowing
time.
whether or not it actually has an impact, that makes all the difference in the world. If it absorbs it, then there's no reason to research it. So
I'm sure DI has a research department which would love to look at this stuff and maybe see if they can make an antifungal and make billions of credits off of it.
Yeah, Diversity Incorporated will start putting it into their cola drinks.
As soon as we tell them there's psionic ancient tech here, and leave it at that, even if it's not really ancient tech because it's made by a drawing or whatever, as soon as we tell them that, they're going to come and they're going to check all that out. They're going to red zone this place.
They already know about the psionic ancient shit. That has been well.
Yeah, they've known about that for a while.
It's the mold. It's the mold that is the new information, and we know that they will red zone this planet so that no one's allowed to come in or out. And so this is our one chance to find out if the lichen here actually has the ability to resist this mold. If it does, great. Then we can research it. If it doesn't resist it, it's a dead end. We can just move on with our lives. I would say let's grab some lichen. Let's throw it at the shit and see if it sticks. If it doesn't absorb it, then we know that there's something unusual about the native plant life. If it does absorb it, then we're back to zero and we move on with our mission. But I think that's valuable information to have.
Discuss this. I'll be right back.
My issue is we're not the people to be doing that research.
The research is literally throwing it at it. That's the whole research.
You won't get enough information to know how well that is.
We know that this thing absorbs.
You don't think DI has a research department with samples of this fungus? They surely do.
They do not. They nuked an entire ship that had this.
I'm willing to bet that there are research stations with this stuff. All we need to do is provide them with the materials to test.
They have,
and they can do a much better chemical analysis and biological analysis what components. They need to know what components of this. This material
we have no idea if it does anything until we actually throw some shit at the mold and see.
And you're going to sit here for 4 or 5 weeks waiting for it to react?
We don't need to. This thing absorbs stuff immediately. If it's biological material, the mold and it absorbs it immediately. And so if you throw the lichen at it and the lichen doesn't get absorbed, we will immediately know that there is something unique about this lichen.
Well, then go throw the lichen at there and see how that works out.
And we'll watch. I'll watch and bring my flame shotgun.
Well, I mean, you can. Okay. So there's a couple of things that you can do, and you can do more than one thing at once. So at this stage, you've got TAS in the low berth. You can.
We got the dock in the low berth.
You could jump in. Oh, you're going to throw the captain in low berth as well?
Yes.
That's probably not a bad idea since, he's honestly a better choice for low berth because he's mumbling batshit crazy. So
I mean, do we only have one low berth or is there more than one?
We have 4.
Oh, well, yeah, perfect.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, and so at this point, you got those 2 in low berths. You can take the air raft and head up to the observatory. Of course, on your way, you can collect some moss and lichen samples.
Yep.
You could also, rather than go to the observatory, you could check out the ops or science section. And this is the map of Candling Station. You guys are over here where it says arrow to Rift Hauler. But you could check out the ops, which is number 5. This is the ops module. And then there is, of course, the science hut or science building, which is
We don't really need to, because we down those 2 guys in this building right here, right?
You downed them down here in 2.
Down here,
right.
too.
And so we did not go and completely burn their bodies. So there's reason to believe that fungus is still infecting those bodies.
So this is the science building.
I don't want to go to either.
5 and 1. 6 is a mission control center. That kind of is where the any records from ships would have been downloaded. That's kind of the mission control. That's kind of where they handle all of the serious stuff.
But we left those 2 bodies here. They weren't able to move very fast. That to me, that's perfect to throw the fungus at, the lichen at, see if it gets absorbed. If it doesn't get absorbed, we know there's something unique about the lichen.
So the 2 bodies that you left in 2, though, were completely. They ended up being completely dead.
They were crawlies.
Well, they
ended
up being crawlies, but the crawlies were annihilated too.
Oh, okay.
There were some energy weapons in use, and so
I didn't think
we'd plenty of them in the science building.
Right. I'm just trying to find a way.
I sense the sentience over there, but I'm just kind of like, when you're walking down the sidewalk and there's a big pile of dog shit in the middle of the sidewalk, you don't get it up and play with it and throw stuff with it or nothing. You just walk around it and you get the fuck away from the dog shit. And that's what I think we should do.
If the dog shit dissolves absolutely everything, and there's a chance that you've found an item that can prevent it from dissolving things, it wouldn't hurt to stand 8 feet away from the dog shit and throw that stuff at it to see if it works. That's all I'm.
If he wants to do that, we'll let him do that. But Thesis has to scan him before he comes back in the ship.
But you can determine if there's something about the plant life without having to risk yourselves going directly up to the fungus, is what I'm saying. Is that Bocephus has the scientific knowledge and the equipment. He could take a sample. Now, you wouldn't know right away, but, you might know further down the line. This is the second time you've run into this thing.
We also have an air car that can hover above this shit, and we could safely drop things from the air car on top of it, right? So that you don't have to actually stand next to it. I mean,
let's just collect a sample and leave, man. I mean, he's told us that we could do this in jump space with research.
But it'd be nice to know it actually works, rather than spend a week researching something to find out it has no impact.
By the time we finished arguing, we could have already thrown the dog shit at the whatever.
Yeah,
that's true. I just say,
let's just have a vote.
Let's go get these people, and he can pick up moss and
let's just have a vote. Move on.
I'll be happy to stay here if you guys want to go and leave me here. It's going to take half an hour to do what I want to do, but if you want to go ahead and leave, that's fine. I'm saying that it would be easier to do this.
Pick up the lice. I think you ought to pick up the moss and lichen up where at higher elevation, where the volcano is and the observatory.
Well, we've seen it nearby, right? Or we saw the caves. I guess that was pretty far away. I don't know if we've seen any lichen there. But
there is signs of moss and lichen all over the place on rocks and whatnot. It's not like there's any scrub grass or anything on this plant. The moss and lichen is the most that you've seen, like clinging to rocks. You're not seeing anything else.
I'm gonna start scraping a bunch of it up.
Okay. So you scrape some into a sealable petri dish. And then where are you guys going from here? Are you going to check out Candling Station, or are you loading up into the air raft to head to the observatory?
I'm not particularly interested in checking out the station.
Yeah, I don't really want to deal with the station either, other than to confirm whether the lichen is absolutely absorbed or not. And so I would like to find the safest location to do that. And so my plan was to use my clairvoyance to find the most isolated and safe form of fungus that I can throw this from a range at and observe and then leave.
Well, go ahead and make another clairvoyance check.
All right. Well, I want to get a lot more lichen than just a small petri dish worth. I want at least a handful so that I can observe from a distance whether or not it's being absorbed.
Okay.
Yeah. And, maybe get a slingshot to fire it at them.
Yeah, make it a clairvoyance plus psi check. Okay.
That is a success.
So, well, that's a really good question. Well, the first thing is that you do pick up with your clairvoyance. One here. So the science building, you are picking up quite a bit of activity.
I don't want to go over and
You're detecting movement inside the building.
Oh no, more of them zombies.
Yeah, you're detecting movement.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily the zombies. It doesn't appear to be fast-moving movement, but you are detecting that there is something going on over here in the science building. You are also picking up movement in the Mission Control Center and in the Operations Support Unit.
All right. I'm going to get a steak or some other large piece of food, and I want to just put it down on the ground out here to basically lure them out. Something large and organic, and then we can be hovering above it in an air car and drop, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Find a way to do this. We don't have to go in a building and go any place that we'd be in danger. This stuff seems to be attracted to biological, to
So
let's
you
lay a trap.
You lay a trap, and nothing comes out to get it.
All right. Well, we had those few guys come after us. I thought maybe there'd be more. Okay. No worries. I'll worry about this. You guys go up to the observatory, and I'll fuck with this.
So George Josephus and Randolph are heading up to,
And Jack
are heading up to the observatory, and you're just.
I don't feel comfortable leaving Sarda here by himself.
I don't particularly either, but we definitely need Jack to go to the observatory. He's got.
So you bring
he's
Jack.
got the
I'll stay
flamethrower.
and take care of Sarda in case he runs into problems. Okay.
Do what
Good.
now?
You should bring Jack. I am not going to put myself in danger. You could be in danger at the observatory.
Thank you, Sarda.
Yeah, I'll stay with Sarda, and then they can take Jack to the observatory.
Okay.
Again, you should go.
So George and Sarda are staying down.
Yeah.
Where are you guys going to station yourselves down here?
Well,
at Candling Station.
I watched the trap that I laid. It clearly did not work, right?
Right.
So the next thing I would do is pick up that trap, and basically go over here and put it down outside this door.
Okay.
And then my plan is to open this door and run like hell.
Okay. Interesting.
I'm going to cover him. Like literally guns drawn. I know I don't do a lot of damage to these things. There's nothing here that I can use that would be flammable. Like there's like no oil for machinery or anything like that I could set fire to or make myself a little flambe, like Molotov cocktail or something like that. I mean, I'm not an educated person, but I'm smart.
So this building down here is actually what was a social hut. It was a congregation area. They've got, a little movie theater in there and whatnot for people.
So they got booze that I can make a Molotov cocktail out of.
Correct. Well, that would be your assumption.
That's where
You
I
guys
think
haven't been in there yet, so you don't know.
Go.
We
Before
don't know
we
what's in
leave,
there.
why don't we come up here to number 3 and see about doing that cool little magnetic trick. Set it up so that way the power with the hydrogen fuel and all that. I mean, let's just annihilate this station with that right there.
I don't think it's flammable.
It is not. It is. So 3 is a reactor hut. It is a fusion reactor. There again, I mean, you could set it to penetrate the magnetic bottle, which would release, plasma and annihilate a large portion, probably at least down here to where this car is. But it's not going to detonate or anything like that.
Well, that'd still kill the fungus in this area. I mean, I'm thinking this whole area here, man, is just got these creatures.
I do too. I just want to throw a handful of fucking lichen on it and see if it gets absorbed or not. That's all I want to do. So my plan was to open this door, leave a giant stake in front of it. When it goes to get the stake, I throw the lichen on it, and we observe it.
And you and George are running back to the
That's all I plan.
Yeah.
I mean,
To the social hut.
I figure it's going to eat the steak really fast. Whether it eats the lichen or not tells us something.
Okay. So so you open the door to the science station, and immediately inside this door,
I don't even look. I just fucking run.
Well,
don't even.
George and Sarda can both make recon plus intellect check.
That's easy. Oh, look at that. Recon 3, so I have +5 to that roll, which gives me an 11.
Okay.
I got an 11 as
Because
well.
I only rolled a 6.
Okay, so inside of the science station, when you open the door, this is what you see.
Yep, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's not good. Throw lichen at it.
Well, I'm just running. I literally, I don't want to. I'm throwing lichen at whatever comes for the steak.
So the other things that you guys notice with an 11 is that the initial thing that you see is that you do see that there are, of course, because this is a major cluster, there are tendrils that are sticking out from this thing, and you can see, portions of bodies that have been absorbed into it.
Did I get to make my Molotov cocktails?
Twitch and they move a little bit, but it seems that it's moving very slowly.
Perfect. That's exactly what I was hoping for.
And you guys turn
slow movement
and book it for the social hut. I will come back to you guys. So Bocephus and Jack and Randolph, who's driving the air raft? Out of curiosity.
Not me.
That's normally me. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's flyer skill.
We don't have anybody that has.
Grab.
That's
It's
perfect.
only
That's
a 0,
exactly. That's what it is. It's a flyer graph.
Yep, that would be it. How did I get that? Air rat. Oh. Okay, so you guys. So Randolph takes off in the air raft, and George and Sarda, you guys are running back to the social hut, and you see this air raft kind of doing, this wobbly takeoff, heading up towards the towards the lip of the volcano. And I mean, he's got to climb quite a ways, but it seems like a pretty shaky takeoff. But off they go. And so Randolph, Bocephus, you guys are in this air raft, and of course it is an open air vehicle. But you guys are wearing your vac suits, and so as you are climbing this mountain, your external gauges are showing that the air quality is getting lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. That if you were not wearing your vac suits, that you would start to suffer hypoxia. And you get up over the lip of this volcano, and you can see that there is a facility built into this volcano. You don't see lava or anything like that. This volcano has been dead for a couple million years. But you see that there is a facility. It's very rough terrain. The only way that you could possibly get up here is via air raft. Bocephus and Randolph, make a Recon plus intellect check. So Bocephus, you, as Randolph brings you up over the lip, you look out and you can see that there is a second air raft that has crash landed near this facility. Maybe a good half a mile from this facility, this air raft just crashed into the inside of this crater, and then you see this very narrow path that leads to this facility that's built here. And of this facility, there's a big tower that comes up with a telescope and a big radio dish on it. But you see that the air raft has crashed.
Are there signs of life or dead bodies or anything there?
You don't see any dead bodies. But you do see there are lights on in the observatory.
I'll look at the observatory through the scope of my gauze rifle and see if I see anybody poking their heads out or anything.
Make another Recon plus intellect check.
Kind of using my scope as binocular, kind of, for an 8.
You don't see anybody. I mean, you kind of look in the windows and stuff, but you don't see anybody moving around.
All right. I guess let's go in and do this.
So Randolph, make another flyer grav plus dex check.
Don't kill us, Randall.
Let's see.
You could take your time for a +2. Just a reminder.
So what'd you say? Just a flyer and a
Flyer. It's a flyer grav plus dex. Okay. Well, it's not a crash landing. It's not the smoothest landing, but Randolph brings you in, kind of scrapes the paint up, and bounces you off the ground a bit before coming to a stop. Kind of like a 10-year-old parking a go-kart. And you guys pile out, and here is basically a standard airlock leading into this observatory facility. The airlock is locked.
Okay. Is there a button on the other side of it that would open it?
I mean, there's a keypad.
Right.
There's a call button as well.
Well, still, I mean, just on the inside of the airlock, is there like a big old button I could see that says like open or some shit like that? Like if I were in there, I could push it and it would open?
Not without a code. It's locked.
Okay.
Why don't we hit the call button? See what we get.
Hit the call button. Yeah.
Okay, so you hit the call button, And
Jack standing on the other side of the door with his flamethrower ready.
right. So you hit the call button, and a woman's voice comes over the comm, and she says, "Who are you? You're not infected, are you?" And behind her, you can hear an older man say, "Amelia, just maybe they're survivors. We did see another ship come in. Just be calm."
Yes, I am Dr. Bocephus, and this is my friend here, Randall and Jack, and we are about to leave the planet. We've discovered the fungal infection, and we know where it came from, and we have also realized that there is a ancient psionic tech wreckage near here. All of it is hazardous, and we wish to parlay.
Make a persuasion plus charm check.
I think, yeah. An 8.
Okay, so she there's like some mumbling in the background between her and this older gentleman, and she tells you over the comm. She goes, "All right, I'm going to open the airlock, but don't you try anything." And she puts in a code, and the airlock cycles to green and lets you in. And inside, once you are through the lock chamber, inside you see this woman, and she introduces herself as Amelia Zurich, and she is keeping a shotgun trained on you, and behind her is this gentleman, Dr. David Mill. Oop. There we go. And it appears to you, as weirdly as this may seem, it appears to you that Amelia and David are a couple. I mean, he's probably a good 30 years older than she is, at least. And they are polar opposites. She is an obvious military grunt type, and he is a scientist. And they appear to have absolutely nothing in common. He does, however, he is wearing in a cross draw on his on the dress belt of his khakis. He has a auto pistol. And they appear to be, at least as far as you can tell, the way they're acting with one another, they hold hands, they stand close to each other. They appear to be a couple.
I think it's best if I just provide, if I may do a quick medical scan of you two to make sure neither of you are infected.
Amelia, starts to, as soon as you start to move towards her, she jerks up with the shotgun, but Dr. Mill puts his hand on her shoulder and he says, dear, just calm down. Let the doctor scan you.
Yes, because if you do shoot, if you start shooting, Jack is going to burn this place down.
And I'm going to help him.
Yeah. And so, I mean, don't think that you have the upper hand with your shotgun. I mean, I'm just saying the mutually assured destruction is surely a concept that you can relate.
Go ahead and make a medic plus intellect or education with an additional +2.
Okay. Medic 3, 4, +2 is 6. All right, here we go. Let's see. I bet you she's infected. She had those splotches. on her art. 10.
Neither one of them are infected. And in the back corner, there's a circular stairway that leads up to the second floor, which is where the main observatory is. Stepping down this circular metal stairway is this woman. And she comes down the stairs, and she's like, what is all the ruckus going on down here? And she sees Bocephus, Randolph, and Jack, and she says, oh, well, we have visitors. Hello, I am Dr. Simone Kiln, I'm sorry, Simone Keen, and who might you be?
Yeah, go ahead, Randall. You talk.
We're the crew of whatever the ship is.
4A4.
And we've have survived the fungus among us. And we've got here to see if there's any survivors that need to be evacuated.
She says, oh, yes. She says, did you investigate the ruins and see the carvings?
Yes, we have. Bocephus is better equipped to handle that question.
She says, oh, well, do you know about Terminus Point?
Well,
she says, well, that's not an official name. It's what I'm calling it. But
I mean, are you talking about the drone star map?
She says yes, and at the end of the universe is the ending of all life.
Yes,
that's what I'm calling Terminus Point. She says, oh, come upstairs. I can show you more.
I call it the universal anus.
Whatever, Whatever. So we'll come back to you. So Sarda and George, you bust open into the social hut down here, and when you open up the door of the social hut, the door is unlocked. And in fact, it's not even completely latched shut. And so you come inside and you latch the door shut. The interior of this place is completely ransacked. Like all of the shelves, everything that was on the shelves has been dumped out. Cabinets have been opened up and dumped out. Everything's scattered across the floor. Furniture's been moved. There was like a potted plant. It's been tipped over, and all of the soil is dumped out on the floor. And you can see that some of the soil in the root ball, part of the root ball has been dragged. What looks like it was dragged out the door.
I'm not paying attention to any of that shit. I literally put the stake down on the ground right there. I open this door and I run. That's all I'm doing. I am got binocular vision. I am very happy to watch from a safe place what reacts to that.
Okay.
So the doors.
I don't shut the door.
Like a
no. I don't want to shut the door. I want it open so that somebody can go detect the stake and get the stake.
Right, but that was here. You ran down here because you don't want to be out in the open when these things come out, right?
Correct.
You wanted to duck inside. What I'm telling you is what you're seeing inside the social hut, where you're hiding.
Yeah, I don't want to be in the social hut either. Then let's get the hell out of here.
Well, it's too late for that because you see this door open up, and you do see that there are a couple of shamblers that come out.
Perfect.
And they do grab the meat.
I'm gonna go run up and throw the lichen at it.
At one of the shamblers?
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So go ahead and make I guess that would be a
dexterity something.
Athletics dexterity check. Okay, well, you throw a... well, okay, hold on.
Ball of lichen.
I need to.
So I have no intention of staying and fighting these things. I plan on running.
Okay. I still need to put you guys down here.
Sure.
I'm in the meantime, I'm really bone on like making something that we could use to not kill these, like, well,
I don't think we have to. We just need to stay away from them. We can get back
Well,
on our ship and
it
close
would be
the door.
nice if we had something that did more damage than our shotgun.
Well, we've got the ultraviolet light, which they're not going to like. And I would just say get away from them and get on our ship.
Certainly you can outrun them.
That's my whole plan. I mean, it's not like they have ranged attacks that we've seen.
I wonder how far they'd follow you.
Well, maybe right up to the ship, but they're not getting on the ship, and it's a matter of how long are they going to stand out front. I doubt it's forever. And even if they do, you guys will be
Jack's
returning with an
gonna
air
come
raft.
back and
with a
with the
flamethrower. So,
flamethrower.
I mean, I have no intention of staying out here and getting contaminated. I just wanted to see if they absorb this stuff. I've got a drone that can monitor things.
Here. Oh. Sorry. Wow, that is huge. Okay. Servitors. There we go. Okay, so George and Sarda roll initiative.
That is... Sorry, man, that wasn't good.
I mean, you can just put down what you rolled.
Yours
Yeah.
wasn't good.
No, I have like +1 dex, or I could use my intellect, which is a +2, and I rolled bad. I just rolled bad this time.
So you got like so George got a 7.
Yeah. Well, actually, altogether, George got a 7.
Okay.
I got a 4.
Okay. All right.
You're dead.
Oh, we're doing that.
Yeah,
that way.
yeah. You don't have to worry about You don't have to worry about using the effect, because it dawned on me that
It's the same.
it is the same. I mean, all it is rolling initiative with more steps. We don't we don't need more steps.
Yeah.
Our life is complicated enough. So the Shambler, so there's 2 Shamblers, and they come out. Yeah, you guys can be here. These 2 Shamblers come out, and one of them reaches down and picks up the meat. Sarda, you run up and throw the lichen into the face of one of them, and it doesn't have any effect at all.
Well, I didn't think it was going to harm it or anything. I was whether it was going to pick it up.
No, it's more interested in the 2 of you.
Sure. Yeah. We're in vac suit, so I didn't know if it would tell that we're
This
biological.
one,
Could tell if you're meat or not.
Right.
it does run up, and it is going to attack. It is just going to... I mean, it's not doing anything other than using its arms to try and bludgeon you. It hits. for 1d of damage. Which I doubt gets through your vac save.
It does not.
No.
The other one dutifully picks up the stake and goes back inside.
Perfect.
Now, that doesn't mean it's going to stay in there, but it goes back inside. George, what are you doing? You see this one has come up and tried to it basically limp slapped Sarda's helmet.
Well,
I'm running, and I'm planning on throwing this bridge over so they can't get across the river.
yeah. Let's just try to buy some time.
You're probably not going to be able to throw the bridge over. I mean, it's flimsy, but it's heavier than that.
Oh, okay, I wasn't sure if that was the way you kept repeatedly describing it as flimsy, so I thought maybe we could just move it.
Blow it up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I have no intention of sticking around.
It's kind of like crossing the steel bridge in Portland. You don't necessarily know that it's sturdy enough to hold your car, but you're probably not going to be able to pick it up either.
I remember that bridge.
So George,
Probably not.
what's George doing?
I'm shooting it with a shotgun. I'm
All
gonna open up with the shotgun and try to buy sort of some time.
Do it.
I know I don't do a lot of damage, so I got a 12 altogether.
That is a hit with a +4 to damage.
What's the blast radius on that?
I got
Uh,
60
Solid
feet.
slug. Or is it solid
I'm not
slug?
going to get you. I'm using slugs, sorta. Oh, well, that's pretty pathetic. Oh, no, that's good. 12 plus 4 is 16 points of damage.
Okay. You do 8. So Sarda, you hear the shotgun blast go off, and you see a hole appear in the chest of this shambler, and then you see all this fungal growth kind of immediately grow over and start to close up the hole from the
Are you
inside.
good? With your minor action, are you going to run?
Yeah, with my minor action, I'm going to run. I want you to come with me.
I'm going to be on the other side of the bridge on my turn. That's all I'm saying is that I had no intention of sticking around.
So, George, you can run 6 meters. So put you about there.
Yeah, I got that.
And Sarda, what would you like to do?
I plan on being here. Oh, God dang
You
it.
can run 18 if you use all 3 minors.
Yep, that's here.
Okay. So the only thing with that is that the Shambler will get a attack on you at a -1. He probably is going to blow this. Yeah, he misses entirely. Doesn't matter. Okay. So you are running away. The Shambler... He's not so much interested in you. Let me measure this with my measurement tools. This Shambler runs up on George, but he's used 2 of his minor actions, so he can't do anything.
Yeah.
This guy comes running back out to here.
No, for a shambler, they move pretty fast. I just wanted to, mention that, Chris. I'm just saying.
They only get to move 3 meters per minor, so yeah. But
So half speed is pretty good.
And he's got really nothing else he can do with his last minor action. So, George, what do you want to do?
Well, George is going to catch up to Sarda. 1 second.
In passing.
Remember, you don't have to run faster than the bear.
Well, I mean, we're going to be in the airlock just, before these. It's going to get its 1 attack on you right now. and combat's over.
No, it's not. I'm going to go right here. It's got to use its action to get there.
Well, it can make a reaction attack at -1 and miss. So it
that's
zombie
combat.
swings and completely misses. And George bravely runs right past Sarda.
Yep.
Sarda, what
And
are you doing?
I'm running to the ship to get in the airlock. We're leaving. I've got a peeping spy bot. I'm going to release. I'll have it watch to see if that whether they pick up that whether they eventually pick up the stuff that was dropped over there. That's all I'm trying to do is find out if they're actually going to absorb the.
So Sarda, you run off and you are getting the airlock open. The Shamblers move 9. That is really annoying that it does that. You can't catch up. So I have this image of these 2 zombies chasing after you guys, but they're winded. They're wheezing.
They shamble really fast.
Yes, they shamble. They shamble quite quickly, but
for shambling zombies.
Yeah, for shambling zombies, they're quick, but they are still winded. And George, are you just running for the airlock?
Yeah, totally. I'm right behind Sarda. He's holding the door.
So
hold the door.
So you guys get into the airlock and you're cycling through the airlock, and these 2 shamblers are basically throwing themselves at the outside of the airlock, pounding on the door. I mean, it's a ship's airlock. They're not their meaty paws aren't going to be slamming their way through. But they are slamming themselves up, like literally throwing themselves against the door trying to get in.
They're contaminating the outside of the airlock, which is bad. But I mean, it is what it is. We'll make sure to radio these guys when they return. Make sure to fire.
Well, luckily the ship's got 2 airlocks, so.
Right. Yeah, but just let them know that this airlock door is probably contaminated. And you're going to want to burn it with fire.
You want to use the port airlock. The starboard airlock is.
You know what? All we got to do is just skip the top of the atmosphere and then come right back in. It'll burn off in the atmosphere.
Well, I've got a peeping spy bot.
That's true too.
I'm gonna use the peeping spy bot to now basically monitor what happens with the science building.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are monitoring the science building, and we will go back to both Cephas and Randolph. So you guys, you get up to the second floor, which is the observatory section. There's just this giant telescope and a radio telescope and banks of computers that are monitoring. And you learn that Simone Keene is a preeminent astrobiologist, or I'm sorry, astrographer, astronomer, not astrographer. Yeah, she wants to know what your birthday is. No, she's an astronomer, and she has
Any day you want, ma'am.
She has been monitoring. Essentially, she's been a part of the team, and she was only slated to be here for a year. That was 9 years ago, and she has just re-upped her tour over and over again, and to the point where she basically took all of her personal belongings from Candling Station and brought them with her to the observatory because she doesn't spend any time at Candling Station. She prefers to stay here with her research. And she shows you guys, by the way, she also tests negative. She is not infected. She basically informs you that she has been originally, her reason for being here was basically to have the chance to study a brown dwarf up close. That she got as much research on that as she was going to get in like the first year, 2 years. There's really not. I mean, you look at a star long enough, you're going to know everything about it, especially as close as you are with Alpha. So she started looking at other things, and the benefit, of course, being out here in the Rift is that there's no pollution. You can see everything. And so she got interested in kind of researching what this original colonist was dealing with when she went crazy after viewing the carvings. And Simone Keene has kind of trained her. She's gone through the logs of the audio logs of that were recorded from the insane asylum of this woman, and has followed her ramblings and trained her telescope. And she shows you guys on a computer model that whatever this thing is that is shown in the carvings that is telepathically speaking to you lies out at the very edge of the Great Rift, at the far rimward edge of our galaxy. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of parsecs away. And she believes, listening to the ramblings, that something has originated from what she is calling Terminus Point out here on the rimward edge of our galaxy, at the edge of the Great Rift, and is coming this way.
We're all going to die.
Yeah.
You're going to die. I'm going to die. We're all going to die.
I'll ask if she wouldn't mind sending a copy of all her research and everything, if she could upload that to our ship's computer.
Oh, certainly. She asked, she says, so I kind of overheard as I was coming down the stairs that Randolph was saying that, and she corrects herself. Your name is Randolph, correct? I'm sorry, I was eavesdropping. But it seems like you were saying that you were packing everybody up to get off of this world?
Yes.
Well, I would be happy to pack a bag and come with you, and I can take if you'll help me, I've got 3 computer cores that we can take with us of all of my research.
That sounds amazing. Phenomenal, even.
So about that time, your radio's cut in from Sardis saying, hey, use the port airlock. The starboard airlock has goo on it. And you kind of learn of their situation, that throwing the lichen so far hasn't revealed any results, but they are monitoring the situation with an eye in the sky.
All right. Well,
and
I'm glad we went risk-free there.
Could we put this air raft in the ship without endangering us with the fungus among us?
You don't know. I mean, you don't know. There could be spores on the air raft. I mean, and there's really, because you don't have any kind of hangar on the ship, you would just be putting it into the cargo bay. There's no ultraviolet light. There's nothing.
It's not worth it.
This is not worth it.
No.
How do we get? Are these creatures still banging on the other door?
So that's funny that you asked that. So after about 20 minutes, they give up and just kind of, I was going to say, they shamble off. they literally shamble off.
They run.
No, they just casually shamble off and start heading back towards the bridge, and just kind of slowly shuffling their way back towards Candling Station and towards the science building.
Yeah.
But it takes them a good 20 minutes, and as they're walking away, you can see that they have really banged themselves up pretty good. They're torn up. They were literally throwing themselves bodily at the door trying to bust it open.
So, Bohethus, should we discuss leaving with these people and evacuating them?
Yeah. I think we should. And ask Jack. He doesn't mind helping load.
Yeah,
The
Jack's fine with that.
Yeah, let's load them up, head them up, move them out. Problem is, we have 5 people in a 4-seater air raft.
Well, it's more than 4. It's a 6-seater.
Oh.
So.
Oh, okay.
Well,
yeah,
5 if you include the driver.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then, yeah. Let's all load up and evacuate. This area is probably going to get flagged a red zone in the near future, and
Bocephus, you can make a science, biology plus intellect or education check.
Are these people putting on evac suits?
11.
They don't have any. Well, they have respirator masks, but they don't have any vac suits up here. On your 11, in your scans, you're kind of just scanning the entire area. In all of your tests, you are finding that there are no sign of any spores here. So it appears that the infection hasn't made it up to this elevation or made it up to the observatory. But having been on Endeavor, that if it gets some kind of biological matter, it's only a matter of time. I mean, essentially, it will take over every piece of biological matter that it can infect.
Yeah. It's clear here for now. We're just gonna load this air raft up and get the fuck out. We'll have to do a thorough decontamination process on entering.
Okay. So Jack,
George and Sart are still doing theirs.
We're just on the ship at the bridge basically. So I've got a spy bot that's basically monitoring what's happening at the science building.
So Randolph, so Jack goes ahead and he's a Marine, so hard labor is the second thing Marines are good at. And he helps load up these 3 computer cores, and you guys get everybody on. Randolph, go ahead and make a flyer grav plus dex check to get you guys out of the lip of this volcano. Wow, that was pretty damn good. Okay. So
yay, I finally got the hang of this.
Yeah, Randolph actually takes off and makes it look like he knows what he's doing. You guys are up and over the lip and heading down the mountain. Sarda and George, you guys are kind of watching on the remote camera. Does either one of you have remote ops?
I've got a chip for it.
Okay.
So
Go ahead and make a remote ops.
That's a negative on me.
Go ahead and make a remote ops plus dex check.
Yeah, it's one of my wafer chips. I got a remote ops too.
Thank God for wafer jacks.
So that's a 9 for operating it.
Oh, and as you guys are loading up the air raft to leave the observatory, in one of the cages, there is a cage, a set of cages, and there is one animal left in the cage, and it appears to be a small monkey.
Well, we'll have to bring the monkey.
All right, so Bocephus grabs his monkey.
Might want to scan that.
Yeah, well, I mean, everything here checks out. It's all in the green. This is an uninfected monkey, and this monkey appears to have basically just been left in this cage. And I mean, it was fed, but it doesn't appear that anybody spent any time with it. It was just a lab animal. And why there's a lab animal in an observatory, you'll have to ask me that another time. But there is this
After a
lab
bottle
animal,
of rum.
and so Bocephus, you now have this small. It's like a spider monkey that is clinging to you because you're the only one that has paid attention to it.
Well, I will send out calming thoughts with my telepathy to it. Just kind of sending the emotion there,
Okay.
I guess. Let me. It's a routine 6, and the effect, how just the better I get at it, the more it does. It looks like, and so that's an 8.
Yeah.
So that'll be an effect of 2.
Yeah. So you calm this monkey down, and it's just kind of clinging to your shoulder of your vac suit.
Yeah.
And
I'll
so
bring it.
you guys climb in with the monkey and take off, and you've got a little filter mask over the monkey's face so that it doesn't die of hypoxia. And so Sarda, you're watching this the feed from the robotic cam, and you see that the tendrils have dug into the steak, and you're watching it, and over the course of like an hour that it takes for both Cephas and Randolph and Jack to get back, you're watching these tendrils. They are clearly consuming the steak, but in the hour you're not seeing any noticeable results. You're not seeing it get stronger. You're not seeing it wither.
But it's made no move toward the lichen at all. It's treated as if it's inorganic.
Well, it's eating both. I mean, the steak is covered in it. It's eating all of it, and you're not seeing any. You're not seeing any difference.
There was also just the handful of lichen I threw at them that was now, I assume, laying on the ground.
They pick it up and take it in. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. They pick it up and take it in, but you're not seeing in the hour that it takes. You're not seeing any noticeable difference either way.
Well, this bot, I believe, has 21 hours of battery life, and so I'm just going to have it continue to monitor until they're back and we're ready to leave.
Okay. So with their air raft, it takes them about an hour to descend from the mountain.
65 hours.
And they come back and use the clean airlock and come aboard. They have 3 new passengers. What are you guys? What are your plans here?
Well, we don't have 3 more low bursts.
You know that they're all clean.
Yeah.
What's guilt? Well, I think we probably want to talk to the doctors, but and one of the doctors won't probably want the grunt to leave his side.
Yeah. I'm gonna make sure. I'm gonna do a thorough check on everybody, and then suggest that we lift off and start heading off. While we're getting out off the ship, off the planet, we can discuss our destination. But really, let's get off. Let's get the outside of our hull nice and hot.
Yeah, your original destination.
Yeah.
This was a stopover point. Your destination was Gekur Naval Base on the opposite side of the rift. So
How many jumps is that?
a lot. So you are here. Your destination. So you're here. Your destination was here. And there are other refueling caches along the way. They're not planetoids like point XF1402 is, but there are refueling caches.
All right. Is there a way that we can change the beacon, the emergency beacon, basically to say that no one's to go with? Yeah, to mark demarcate this location, and maybe a few hundred kilometers in every direction is being contaminated.
Oh yeah, you
okay.
could put out a automatic broadcast saying that the entire site is biohazard, do not land, etc. Now, like you said though, if there are ships that are coming in and they need fuel, they may not have a choice.
Well, but I mean, they should have a choice of where to land on the planet. So I'm assuming there's water at other locations of the planet.
No, well, yes. I mean, the river travels away, so.
Yeah.
That's why I think we need to set the reactor off of the refueling station. They're not going to go to a blasted refueling station to refuel. They'll find another place that might be a little more difficult.
It's not a bad idea. The real worry is, I mean, if it was me, the worry I'd have is that they might try to salvage the ship.
Well, I mean, we could do the ship that way too.
I don't know that it has a nuclear power. Well, I guess it does.
Yeah, you've got 2 fusion reactors. I mean, you could essentially
we could rig them to blow after we've taken off.
Yeah. Just put a 2-hour delay on all the commands on bottlenecking the.
That sounds like a Randolph thing. Randolph, you want to make a engineering power plus intellect or education check?
Yeah, because if there's nothing here of value either, that really
12.
deters people from coming.
Nice.
So with a 12, Randolph rigs rigs the Candling Station's reactor and 5A7's reactor together and sets it on a timer, and you guys are ready to lift off.
Yep. Well, bring back my drone and take off.
Okay.
We'll decontaminate the drones and everything thoroughly.
Yep. Everything needs to go through the UV.
Gonna put decontamination gels all over that drone.
Yes. Paint it. Just
And
goo
just
that
for
thing up.
shits and giggles, I would like to.
It's 5 millimeters wide by 5 millimeters, and it's been hovering the entire time, so it's a little hard to.
Right. That's true.
Well, we'll just put it in the bottle with the rest of the lotions.
I want to try to. Well, when we're getting ready to go in jump space, I want to work on making an antifungal inoculation.
Okay. So, you guys make it into jump space, and you spend the next couple of weeks making it to Gikur Naval Base. And when you dock, you give your reports. Bocephus, you have done some research into into an immunization. Using the research that you've already had, you don't know that you have an immunization, but you may be well on the way to a cure, but you have no way of really testing it at this point. But
We
when
got a monkey.
that isn't infected,
Nice,
right?
monkey.
But when you give your reports at Gikur Naval Station, they kind of smile and nod, and they take all the information in. They once again separate all of you, interview you, debrief you, and at the end of the whole thing, a naval officer comes in and introduces himself as a Imperial intelligence operative, and he tells you about an exciting opportunity that he wants you all to possibly join, and he hopes that you'll accept. And we'll get into that next week on Friday night at 7 o'clock for Deep Night Revelation.
Thanks. That was pretty fun. Yeah.
I didn't get to kill anybody.
We have a big. You're doing good.
Yeah, you guys. So before we
I'm
take
gonna
off,
have to be a pirate really bad next week.
so before we take off, I am going to give you guys, because you, I have instilled such paranoia in you guys. I'm going to give you guys 3 experience points that you can spend however you like for skills or characteristics. And again, those can be found in the Traveler Companion. I want to say on page 38.
Traveler
Nope,
companion.
not quite. Hold on. It is under page 38. Why didn't? I'm sorry. Page 39 has the charts for how you can spend those, and so with 3 points, you could theoretically raise a skill from 3 to 4. You could. There's a whole bunch you can do with this skill. So.
If I could go 3 to 4 with that, then I'm going to take my medic and put it at 4.
You could. Now, keep in mind, my house rule is you cannot have a skill rank higher than 4, and of course, you have to maintain your intellect plus education times 3. You can't have more skill points than that. So if you hit that barrier, you can only gain 0 for skills.
All right, so we have the companion in your.
Yes.
You have a PDF of the companion.
Yes.
Can you pick up new talents, psionic talents with XP?
You could.
Yes.
Yes, you can. You can. The psionic talents, if you are psionic, I will allow you to purchase those skills just like you would any others.
Because I might want to learn some telepathy just to get some defenses.
Right. Yeah.
That seemed useful. And
even if you take telepathy 0, that still allows you to have a shield up.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if Bocephus doesn't mind teaching us while we're mid-jump, I'll be happy to help him if he wants to learn some clairvoyance.
Yeah, you'll have to ride in a little cozy, or he'll have to ride in a cozy on your back, and you'll have to run around the ship doing somersaults and stuff. But
okay,
yeah.
Did we turn the inside of the ship into a swamp?
Yes, yes. What's in the cargo container? Only what you take with you.
Okay, after seeing the effectiveness as a slug weapon against these things, I'm going to boost my mechanic up to 2.
All right.
From 1 to 2, and I'm going to take gun combat energy.
There, yeah.
1.
Yeah.
So I've got gun combat slug 0. Does that mean I can spend 1 and get energy gun combat energy 0?
If you've got
combat 0, you could spend 1 point and take energy 1.
Oh boy, and 1 for slug. Now that leaves me another one.
Yeah, if you got a 0, you're at 0 in all gun combat.
Right.
I thought I read that in the books, but
yep.
The thing is that oftentimes when they give you advancements, it'll specify something like that. But like they told me I have athletics dexterity 0, but that's athletics 0.
Right.
Yeah. The main thing to remember on this is he gave us 3 whole points, which is a rarity, and so this is gonna be one of the few opportunities you can take one of your good skills and make it better.
Usually, you only get 1 to 2 per adventure, but I'm giving you guys 3 on this one, so you can really crank something up if you want.
So I'm going to diversify.
Yeah, if you're like me, you like to diversify. I've never been a min-maxer.
But it is min-maxing when you're getting them 1 point at a time. So right, so
min-maxing would be throwing everything into one skill, which
but I'm saying
is a possibility.
That's my concern with the XP system's always been that it almost completely negates the benefit of jack of all trades, because it's so easy to buy everything at 0.
Well, I mean, theoretically, even with skill training, if you got the decent education rolls at the end of your training period, that would end up negating jack of all trades, anyways.
How long are we having downtime for between? I might actually be able to go to my home world.
Let me Well,
I didn't realize we'd be in this area of space.
I don't know. Where is your homeworld?
It is Vodan, which is on the map you're showing. It is directly north of Rialin. So it's like four sectors about north of this.
Yeah, you could probably stop by your home planet. I wouldn't. There will be some options for you to do that, but we'll get into the opportunity that is going to be presented to you, and then if you wanted to do some, you'll have an opportunity to do some personal stuff.
Any
Mostly
luck
saying
points?
goodbye.
Oh yeah. Any luck point recharging?
Oh yes, yeah. If you spent a luck point, you will get that back. Because none of you have spent any luck points that would require you to permanently burn them. So
I'm still at max luck of 3.
I got 10.
damn, Randolph's a lucky motherfucker. I mean,
Actually, I have 11.
the only time that you permanently
I
burn
have the
those
5
is if there's
sanity.
something
I
like,
have
oh my god, you're gonna die, and then you can be like, well, I'm going to spend luck points and that's like a perma burn of like, okay, well that saved your life, but now you're down on your luck.
Do you guys think I need to concentrate on my engineer powers?
I don't know. It's all on you. I went medic high because I mean we're going on a science mission and I'm gonna have to make lots of medic rolls, and it's what usually is the decision on whether you live or die. So, I mean,
Well, engineering can be that way too.
Yeah,
honestly,
right.
I mean, if you're good at it, I would definitely crank up an engineering skill.
So the skill that none of us have had and yet have repeatedly tried to use is explosives. You guys might want to consider picking up explosives.
Yeah,
I will when we get 1 or 2.
Somebody may want to pick up explosives, especially considering the job that's going to be offered to you.
So how many points does it cost for me to get explosives 0?
1 point.
1.
And if I want to take an engineer 1 and make it a 2, what's that cost?
That's
1.
I believe 2 points. No, 1 to 2 I think is 2, right?
Yeah, you're right. To get 2 points from 1, it would cost 2.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, we will pick this up next week at 7:00 on Friday night, and we will talk about your exciting opportunity.
Yeah. Cool. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Take care, all.
All right. See you guys.